Hello and welcome to the Moms Who Know podcast. I'm excited that you're here with me today. Today is part of a two-part podcast that we're doing. Today is going to be just me talking about my nutrition, the things that I eat, and my SANE lifestyle. And then next week, Jonathan Baylor, the author of The Calorie Myth, is going to be here with us talking about his research and kind of how he came up with this way of eating. So I'm really excited for him to be on with us next week. And I wanted to give you a little preview and a little taste of why you should be excited about that too. So if you've heard me talk before, maybe on the body image episode, about my backstory, I talked a little bit about how I really studied health and nutrition online. I wanted to know everything that there was to know, and I wanted it so that I could be the healthiest and the skinniest, frankly, that I could be. And so I really went to work learning all these things. And as I studied, some principles came through. Lots of things were different with different practitioners, different researchers, even look at things different ways. But one thing that was a core principle that I came to again and again was real food. Whole food, real food, unprocessed food, whatever you want to call it, that kept coming up again and again. And so I knew through this process of study that real food needed to be the basis for a healthy diet. And I used that as I evaluated other things that I came across, because eating real food, switching from the processed diet that I had been eating to really a real food diet helped. It helped a lot. It helped with my nutrition, it helped with digestion, it helped with the way that I felt, but I still didn't feel like I was there yet in terms of I still had a little weight to lose, and I still felt like I had more to learn. And so as I continued to study, I came across Jonathan Baylor, and the SANE solution is what he calls it. SANE is an acronym that stands for satiety, aggression, nutrition, efficiency. We'll let him cover all that next week and really dive into the science and everything that goes along with SANE and how he came up with it. But what I really liked about his work is that it's real food based. It's also science based. And so he did a lot of research to come up with this plan. And surprise, he didn't realize through his research that you need to spend a bunch of money on protein powders or pills or potions or anything like that. So let's go ahead and get into what a SANE diet looks like. So here are the basics of what you eat. Vegetables, number one, and you shoot for 10 or more servings of vegetables per day. Then after that comes lean protein in the form of meat, or there are vegetarian options. Then whole food fats, then low fructose fruits. So the reason why I said then in between them is you kind of go in that order. You want to make sure your vegetables are your number one priority, and then your proteins after that, and fats after that. And there's a reason for that, and it has to do with the S, which is satiety. It helps you be really full when you eat that way. That was one real blessing for me of going SANE, is since I can't have gluten anyway, I was really struggling with hunger. And so I felt hungry a lot. And when I would eat healthy, in quotation marks, that would leave me feeling even more hungry. And so the way that SANE addresses that is by eating more vegetables. It's brilliant because they're the most nutritious food you could eat, and you're getting more of those. So I love that. So the number one question people ask me when they hear that I eat that many vegetables a day is, well, doesn't that give you gas? And no, that doesn't give me gas. Thank you for asking. People do ask me that a lot. I think part of the reason, first of all, I think people think that because when you think vegetables, a lot of times people think raw vegetables, and that's certainly great if you want to eat that many raw vegetables. But for me, I probably eat at least half of my vegetables cooked because that's the way they taste good to me, and also for better digestion. That just seems to work for me. I do eat a lot of raw leafy greens, but those are also not a problem for digestion. I'm able to digest those fine, so that works for me. The other thing that was a huge blessing and something I just love about SANE is the focus is on eating right and not on cutting back or eating less. Because a lot of times when you read about nutrition, the underlying theme is that you need to cut back, you need to eat less. If you want to lose weight, you have to eat less calories. And the whole idea of SANE is that you need to eat until your body is full and satisfied. And so if you do that, eating a lot of vegetables, you'll have all the nutrition that you need without having to count calories or worry that you've eaten too many calories or anything like that. So there's no counting. The only counting that would be involved is up to, counting your servings of vegetables. But once you kind of have a general idea, you really don't count that anymore. That isn't something that I count. There's nothing that I count because this is just how I live. This isn't really a diet. So I'll get into all that. But let me talk first a little bit about what a typical day looks like for me, what I eat. So breakfast, I have gotten in the habit of always having the same breakfast. I used to be a person who did not like the same breakfast all the time, but probably for at least a year, I've had the same breakfast every day because I love it and I look forward to it and I still want it every day. And if I decide to change it up, if I get tired of it, then I will change it up. But for now, I eat Greek yogurt every morning, and it's plain Greek yogurt, and I usually flavor it either with strawberries or cocoa powder to make it chocolate. And then I put in chia seeds, cacao nibs, xylitol to make it sweet. That's a sugar alcohol for sweetener. And usually a little bit about, I don't know, like I said, I don't count, a handful of nuts in there and different kinds of nuts. And that is for my protein for breakfast. And then for my vegetables, I have a green smoothie. And this green smoothie is so good, but it's going to sound weird. I'll tell you what's in it. Water is the base, and then a lemon, cinnamon, some kind of fruit for flavor. So my favorites are either grapefruit or orange. I also like strawberries, so some kind of fruit in there. And then a ton of spinach or kale or chard, different kinds of vegetables, not too much kale or chard because a little goes a long way. So usually something milder like spinach. But I usually have about 7 cups of green leafy vegetables in my blender in that green smoothie. And it usually fills about 2 large glasses, and I drink it slowly throughout the morning. And so my breakfast takes me a while. I eat my yogurt sitting down at the table, and then I have my smoothie kind of as I'm doing other things, maybe working on the computer or whatever I'm doing that morning, and just kind of don't rush it because it's kind of a lot to drink, but I look forward to it. I really enjoy that. Okay, that's my breakfast. So for lunch, lots of different things, but I'll tell you a couple favorites. I really love salmon or a salmon burger, just the patty usually, and then sometimes I'll put on it like sauerkraut or different things, but usually I just eat it plain. And then cauliflower. And what I do for my cauliflower is I like to get a whole bag of frozen cauliflower. because it's already chopped, and so it makes it really easy. And then I put a little olive oil on it, roast it in the oven, and I have it's 6 servings in a bag of cauliflower. I eat the whole bag with some salmon. That is one of my favorite lunches. Another thing that I do for lunch is salad with some protein, like a whole can of tuna or a grilled chicken breast or some hard-boiled eggs, something like that. Another favorite is to get a frozen bag of mixed peppers. So they sell the peppers, red, yellow, and green peppers all chopped up. I think there's onions in there too. And that's also really cost effective to get them frozen. And it saves you time because you don't have to chop them. And they're always ready. They don't go bad. So that's why I kind of like my frozen vegetables. But I cook those until they're a little bit caramelized. And then I put in some ground beef, maybe an egg, and some cheese on top, and it is delicious. I love that lunch. I usually have a big snack in the afternoon when my kids get home from school. They have an after school snack, and I like to have an after school snack with them. Sometimes I'll have another green smoothie at that point. Sometimes I'll sit down with the kids and have what they're having, which is usually vegetables and dip or fruit and dip or what are some other things. They do smoothies also with me and things, or sometimes hard-boiled eggs we'll have. So it just kind of varies. Also, at that time or at another time throughout the day, I pretty much always have some chocolate because I love it. And what I really love is dark chocolate. It's a brand called Lily's, and I just have a tiny square, which is usually enough. If it's not enough, I have another square. And if I've eaten, these squares, by the way, are like an inch long by half an inch wide, so they're pretty tiny. But if I've eaten about 3 and I still want more, then I recognize that I'm actually hungry and I go and I eat something else, more vegetables or something. And if I still want more, then I go back and have chocolate again because I'm not all about depriving myself. But I do want to make sure that I'm getting that nutrition in first. Then for dinner, we eat as a family, and that's one thing that's been so nice with this SANE lifestyle is that it's something that's really doable with a family. I know a lot of times mom's on a diet and she can't eat what everyone else is eating, and that's no good. That's not what we want to teach our children. It makes me sad to think that mom has to eat something else. And so some things that we like fajitas, we like tacos. What I'll do is on taco night, for example, I make all the toppings and everything for tacos, and my kids will usually have their taco in a shell, and I'll have usually a taco salad. Everything is the same on the table, and people choose their toppings, and I choose not to have the shell. So maybe we're making different choices, but the same food is on the table. I always make sure there's lots of vegetables on the table for my kids to choose from or to turn their noses up at, which they sometimes do. But I keep trying, and I loved all the vegetables. So if they don't finish them off, I'm happy to help them eat them. So that works out for me. Now, that's kind of what I eat in a nutshell. There are other things. There are definitely SANE treats. One of which I love to make these SANE cookies. I can post a link to that on the website. So if you're interested in any of these specific recipes, I'll post a link for a green smoothie and for these yummy grain-free cookies that are super good on the website. So you can check that out. But now I want to talk about why I love SANE and why I want to introduce other people to it and kind of see if this is a good fit for you. And that is because SANE has really been freeing for me. It took me a while mentally, even when I started to feel better about my body, it took me a while to let go of the worry about what I should eat and not eat because I was disconnected from knowing what made me feel good and what didn't. And it was kind of a process to figure out. And there are so many conflicting things. Sometimes you'll read this food is good or it's not good. Well, we can probably all universally agree that vegetables are good. And so making vegetables the focus of your diet really takes a lot of stress out. So I like that. SANE has also been very freeing because I understand better my hunger cues. And what I mean by that is there are days where we feel more hungry. And in the past, when I had that, when I was feeling extra hungry on a certain day, there was a lot of mental chatter like, what? Why are you still eating? Why are you still hungry? You're probably not really hungry, things like that. And now, if I feel hungry, I understand what my body's trying to tell me. It's that I'm hungry and I need to go and eat. And when you're eating really nutritious foods, your body is fueled and you feel the difference from being hungry or being energized and having that energy that you need from food. So it really becomes apparent that food is your fuel. It also takes away the guilt from eating. I don't have to feel guilty on a day that I am really hungry because I just know my body needs more nutrition. Maybe the baby's been nursing more, or maybe I worked out really hard and my body needs a little bit extra. So great, I'm happy to oblige. I like eating. I'll give you more food, body. So it works well because I don't feel guilty for that. I feel glad that I'm treating my body well. Also, with SANE, it is a lifestyle and it's easy to fit in to any occasion. So, if we go to someone's house, I don't have to say, oh, I can't eat this and this. Okay, sometimes I do. I can't eat gluten. And sometimes, okay, there are certain situations where, like, oh, it's a pizza party. Okay, well, then I may bring my own food or plan ahead. But what I mean is, for the most part, you can find SANE food on any menu or at any party or things like that. So maybe, you go to a friend's barbecue and you're not going to eat the potato chips and different things, but maybe you could have a burger without the bun or a hot dog and eat the fruit. And maybe that's not your best, sanest meal ever, but you do the best that you can. And you can usually find food that's going to fill you up and still, keep you on track and help you feel good. Generally, I've found that to be true, that I don't have to make a big deal about what I'm eating at other places. Now, one thing that I wanted to emphasize is that with SANE, it's not a diet, it is a lifestyle. And the reason why I can say that, because lots of people say that, right? Oh, it's not a diet, it's a lifestyle for you to spend $40 a day on this shake or whatever the case may be. It's a lifestyle to eat this every day. I think that the difference for me, what makes something a diet versus what makes it a lifestyle, is if it gets easier as it goes along. If you stop having to think about it, if you are really putting a lot of effort and worrying about rules and thinking all the time, oh, can I eat this? When was the last time I ate? How much have I eaten today? That is kind of crazy making. And to me, that is the epitome of diet mentality. Now, a lifestyle means that you eat, you fuel your body, you do what you need to do so that you can go on and live and not have to worry about it. So, I will also say this. I think that you could do SANE as a diet. You could try it. You could really try to follow every guideline, to a T and make it a diet and make yourself crazy and worry about it. But you can also make this a lifestyle. And I think that's true for a lot of things. You have to find what you can really live as a lifestyle. Maybe this is it for you. Maybe it's not. The other thing that I really like is that this is a health guideline and SANE is kind of a spectrum. So if you picture this spectrum, on the far side of things that you want to eat the most of are the things I mentioned earlier, the vegetables, the proteins, the fats, the fruit. And then on the other end are things that you don't want to eat quite as much. But because it is a spectrum, because it's set up that way, if ever I do have something on the other end, I don't feel like I failed. Just feel like I chose from the other side. And I recognize that when I eat something from that other side, I don't feel as good. And so it makes me want to do it less, but it takes away the guilt for me. And so I hope that this has kind of given you a little bit of excitement and a little bit of hope if this is something that you're struggling with, and a little bit of a desire to learn more. So next week we will talk to Jonathan Baylor and really get into what a sane lifestyle looks like, why this sane lifestyle came about. And I'm looking forward to talking to him. If you have any questions, post them on the Facebook page. And I look forward to hearing those from you. And I hope that this is something that is helpful for you. Thanks for being here on Moms Who Know. Subscribe to Moms Who Know so you never miss an episode, and join the conversation on Facebook at facebook.com/Moms Who Know podcast.